So now the Go-Pack tick is surging. Newt Gingrich, Spinalis cavinian. Let me read you a little bit about what I wrote about him then and see if you disagree or agree. The Georgia Go-Pack tick is a hard-shelled but soft-headed pest that sustains itself by sucking the blood out of any organism that will increase the tick's much-desired power drive. It gains natural advantages through its seeming intelligence and clever concealment of weaknesses. While the Go-Pack tick aggressively latches onto any available host it can find, including prospective mates, it quickly retreats at the sight of organized resistance or the onset of illness. Promised a contract for America, instead gave us a contract on America. Like a Trojan horse, the Go-Pack tick can change colors with the landscape, and recently struck a deal with the limber leopard, seeing she will likely be the next power on the throne. That was pretty prescient. Several sightings of this rare tick have been reported recently in both Iowa and New Hampshire, perennial breeding grounds for pests of all sorts. This tick is also known to spread numerous diseases, including severe disappointeria and acute apotheosis. That's my summary of Newt Gingrich back in 2006. So if you want to read it, I can read it to you. It's sad because it's so true. I can read you the whole thing. It's exactly a repeat of history we're living through right now. I'll read you a little in the middle of it. They say Henry Clay was the great compromiser, but that was long before Gingrich. The tick, who upon encountering real resistance caved in faster than a punctured lung. I'm sorry. The Go-Pack tick, we found out, is the kind of eager parasite that could have struck a deal with Pol Pot. Very well, you can beat us, shackle us, and make us dig our own graves, just as long as we get to stay in your fine capital city. That's our final offer. In less time than it takes George W. Bush to read an issue of Ranger Rick, the Republican Revolution of 1994 withered into history, leaving about as much lasting impression as the Disco Revolution of 1974. Once the Republicans faltered, public confidence waned, and with the impeachment procedures that followed, Go-Pack's once loyal constituents grew weary of the flea circus. Democrats actually gained seats from the Republicans in the impeach or not to impeach 98 election. All of these maneuvers merely revealed the true colors of this blood-hungry biter, an insect whose principles proved as soft and swollen as his gut. Even in the early days of his congressional career, the tick's character was suspect. He was rumored to prey on his female staff members. Those rumors grew when this insect, apparently not wanting to suck any chemo with the blood, divorced his first wife while she was recovering from cancer. It's harsh, I admit it. But sarcasm is certainly a form of political satire, isn't it? Lovely Gingrich. Why don't you pay a visit to the local orphanage and kick some kids in the shins while you're at it? The same deranged scenario repeated itself immediately after Gingrich stepped down as Speaker and left the House. He announced his divorce to his second wife right after she'd been diagnosed with MS. He left her for a congressional aide 23 years his junior. Even in his love life, the Go-Pack tick is dangerous, bleeding his partner to the point of disease, then moving on to another host. Forget Time's Tick of the Year. The man deserves the Woody Allen Award for his cold dexterity in betraying and praying. Oh, God, that's cruel, Michael. Now, I know full well that only he who is without sin should swat that first pest. Don't get me wrong here. I don't want to smash this tick to extinction. I just want him to shut up and go away, but he won't. He keeps turning up looking for fresh blood. Although Gingrich is a private tick again, he has been nearly as pesky as Jimmy Carter. No, forgive me, not quite that pesky. No one is that pesky. While Gingrich rightly criticized the State Department in a recent speech, saying that bureaucrats there were undercutting the president's foreign policy, that was then, remember that, his attack had been coordinated and approved by Bush administration officials beforehand. There's that pesky Go-Pack tick again, doing the White House's dirty work. Any White Houses, that's the rub. This tick doesn't want to fly in his own power. He wants to fly in Air Force One. Recently, he aligned himself with Hillary Clinton on health care and national security issues, effectively moderating the credentials of a woman he once painted to the left of Mao. She hasn't changed, Gingrich. It's you, bro. Which reminds me, you know how every time you come in from the woods you check for ticks? That's what I do every time I come back from Washington. I check for newts. You just never know who he'll latch onto next. So let me go back to the beginning of this book, where I quote John Dryden from 1681 for those of you who have a literary bent. The true end of satire is the amendment of vice by correction, and he who writes honestly is no more an enemy to the offender than the physician to the patient when he prescribes harsh remedies to an inveterate disease. So forgive me my diagnosis, and forgive me my cure, but the fact of the matter is the country is suffering from a disease the disease of lifetime politicians like Newt Gingrich.